Well, good afternoon and welcome to Adams Park. This is a special Brentford YouTube streaming game of the friendly Wycombe Wanderers against Brentford FC. I'm Mark Burridge, joined this afternoon by Dave Morley and Big Chris Deacon as well from the media team, and we're here to bring you live commentary this afternoon from the Buckinghamshire ground. It's a blustery day if you're overseas. The temperature is reasonable. There's about 400 Brentford fans behind the goal to our right. We're right high up on the gantry, so you'll get a good view this afternoon, and we'll give you the two teams to line up for the first half first of all. For Wycombe Wanderers, as you may have seen if you saw their friendly against Woking the other day, they started off with 6 trialists. Not quite so bad today. In goal will be Ryan Alsop. The left back is a trialist. The right back is Jason McCarthy. The centre backs are Anthony Stewart and a centre back trialist. Alex Patterson, who's coming from Middlesbrough, and Dominic Gate will sit just in front of the back four. Matt Bloomfield will just be behind the front three, who will be Paul Smith, signed on loan yesterday from Queen's Park Rangers for the season, on the right, a trialist on the left, and big Akin Fenwa up front. On the bench, number 2 trialist, number 6 trialist, number 9 Craig McCall-Smith, number 11 Scott Cashket, number 12 trialist, number 16 trialist, number 22 is Nick Freeman, number 24 is trialist, and number 25 is Alex Samuel. This is how Brentford will line up. They're going to line up 4-3-3 today, with Josh Clark as the right back, Pontus Jansson and Carroll will be the centre backs, Tom Field the left back, Luke Daniels in goal today. It'll be Jan Zambarek and Jaco Oxenen just in the midfield, just behind Josh Da Silva. Frederick Hammer, Emiliano Marcondes and Matthias Jensen will be up front. So a big chance for Brentford fans to see the first of Pontus Jansson and Matthias Jansen this afternoon. So Big Dave, good to see you. You survived the summer?
Certainly have, Mark, yep.
Looking forward to the new season?
Yeah,
it's been
really
very interesting with the transfer dealings. Pontus Jansson, of course, has been what you would say is the marquee signing. It was regarded very much as not a Brentford type of signing, and it's taken everybody by surprise. I think particularly fans from other clubs as well, but it looks just what we need.
It really does, yeah. I mean, and again, I think it was a surprise, because I think it was a surprise listening to it to the directors of football. They only sort of knew a week before it happened. I don't think there was anything planned, but it was almost too good an opportunity to turn down. Yeah,
absolutely. And Chris, good afternoon to you as well. Pontus Jansson, it all seemed to happen very quickly, but everybody's excited about the signing of Big Pontus. He'll be a real leader out there on the pitch. Of course, we've got Romain Sawyers as our captain, who'll be doing his bit in the midfield, but we have missed that dominant presence at the back.
Yeah, and I think, as you see today, he's got the captain's armband on immediately. He's leading the side out today. I think you're right, he's not necessarily the typical Brentford signing, but he's a big, strong centre-back who is probably one of the hardest centre-backs we played in the league last season. So, yeah, he's going to absolutely dominate for us.
And you do a lot of the B team games, which you cover very well, Chris. Who's particularly caught your eye? Because I must say that I thought our 2 midfielders this afternoon played particularly well at AFC Wimbledon, and that was Zambarek and Oxenen.
Yeah, I mean, they're both very good. Oxenen had a chance at the end of last season. Both of them have made their first team debuts. But again, I think another one to watch today is certainly Frederick Hammer as well. He seemed very strong at AFC Wimbledon. And he's just been given a real chance by Thomas Frank at the start of this season, and it's up to some of the boys out there today to take it.
Yeah, it certainly is. We're set to go. The referee this afternoon is Mr. Breakspear, and his assistants are Mr. Lee and Mr. Simpson. The 4th official is Mr. J. Oxenham. So Wycombe Wanderers are playing in their second kit of yellow this afternoon, so Brentford can play in their traditional red and white stripes. There would have been no problem if they played in blue, but a chance to see their new away kit. And Brentford are kicking right to left in this first half. Here is Carroll, who also impressed in the game at Wimbledon. Looking for options. Be interested to see Marcondes, who missed a penalty out in the game in Austria. Wasn't quite the start that he wanted, but looked very sharp pre-season last season, of course, David, and then got clattered in the pre-season against Watford. It was rather infuriating for everybody, not least the player, because had it been a league game, there would have been some action taken against players early on, because there were 4 or 5 very heavy nibbles at him, and the last put him out for a number of months.
And then when he did get back in, Mark, he got injured again late on at West Brom.
At West Brom, after Well, he got injured during the game, didn't he?
Yeah.
Just about managed to come back on, and of course put in the all-important cross for Lewis McLeod to get the late equaliser there. That was a very welcome point at a time where we were really struggling. Here is Carroll out to Tom Field, who many may think has been a bit of the forgotten man. A couple of seasons ago he was looking very promising. There's a slip on the far side by young Zambrek, and a throw for Wycombe on the far side.
This time of the season when the grass is so green and lush, you're going to get that, aren't you? And I think it's just a case of getting their stud selection right early on.
Throw down the line. Janssen against Akinfenwa. There is Janssen's first touch. Applauded by the Bees fans behind the goal, who some of them are actually saying they're a bit disappointed they haven't seen more first teamers out. Well, what we can reveal to you, there was a game behind closed doors yesterday. We can't reveal any information about it, and that is because it was a Premier League team and they have asked for it to stay that way. So that's the reason why many, if not all of the first teamers, are not out there today. They'll of course be having a behind closed doors game against Norwich in the week, and then we think we'll see everybody out getting some action next week against AFC Bournemouth. Now De Silva's been robbed. The ball's played out to the left-hand side. Here's one of the trialists on the ball. Janssen just does enough to get him away from the penalty area. Good battling on the far side by Clark. Zambrek battling there as well. It will be a throw. So that's why we're not seeing some of the big guns out there today, Chris.
Yeah, I mean, as you say, the Premier League side have asked us not to say who it was, but I mean, you can see from today's team, a lot of the main first team squad would have played. And again, I think it's a good chance today for Thomas to have a little look at some of the B team lads mixed in with the first team players as well.
There's a corner there early on for Wycombe Wanderers. I think Brentford thought it may have been a foul on Axonen then. Big Akinfenwa, the beast as they call him.
He hasn't got any smaller, has he?
He's a big fella.
Yeah.
But he's been successful over the years.
He really has, yeah.
You'll remember, Dave, him coming down to play for Swansea in that game that we won 2-1 on Boxing Day, when he was leading the line there, and he's still doing that well. Here comes the first corner of the afternoon. It's to the far post, and we can get him round the back, but it's gone behind for a goal kick. So Brentford have hardly been in the Wycombe half in the opening exchanges, but who's particularly caught your eye in the B team games early on, and looking at their sharpness and fitness, Chris? Who do you think will make their way into the first team, if not the actual team, the squad this year?
I'd say there are a few candidates out here today that would probably do that. I think Jan Zamburek is certainly worth a chance this season. He's put in the hard work. He can play in the middle or on the wing, and that's where he is today. I think there are a few names in there like Gustav Mogensen. You've got a few people like Kane O'Connor, who's just got here, but again, very big, very imposing centre-back. I think there's a few chances this season. We saw like 7 debuts last year, and I think that's only going to either increase or stay exactly the same this season. I think you see a lot of B team players make it through, but I'd say one of the players who started this game, maybe Jaco, maybe Jan, will definitely have a huge chance this season. And
we've seen Josh De Silva, of course, at the end of last season, start to be, he looked as if he was struggling to perhaps get the pace of the game in his first few cameos, where he was taking a little bit of time to move the ball forward. That wasn't the way the last 2 or 3 games. He looks a real player for this season, so I think we're all excited to see what he can do. There'll be a throw for Wycombe on the far side.
It was a throw to Brentford, but it was a foul throw. It was quite a obvious foul throw.
I think the thing with Josh, as you say, last season, is we saw in some of the B team games where he was introduced to the side, it's some absolutely insane goals that he scored. One from just outside the box, and then against Millwall he does it exactly the same in the Championship. So we certainly saw him, once he's used to the game, he was absolutely flying. Yeah,
he doesn't often miss a target. That's something we saw early on. Even when he wasn't scoring the goals, he was certainly testing the keeper. A little bit careless at the back from Brentford there. And here's Jason McCarthy with a throw halfway inside the Brentford half. There's a little bit of a nudge there from Frederick Hammer.
I mean, Frederick Hammer, he was a B team guy that impressed me against Wimbledon in the second half there. He looked very lively.
Yeah, there were a few good cameos that day. I think we all left there rather excited, and of course the next week in the transfer market was just sending Brentford fans into a bit of a frenzy, all looking forward to a good season. What can they do from this, defending this free kick here? The ball is away on the far side. It's going to be picked up by one of the trialists. Here's Dominic Gape, all the way back to their centre-back trialist. McCarthy heads it towards the box. Oh, good work here from Wycombe round the back. Chance for the first goal, and it has gone their way. It's one of the trialists with the early goal. Sloppy defending at the back, and it's Wycombe Wanderers 1, Brentford 0.
Yeah, I thought Tom Field was very easily beaten there, wasn't he? He just sort of lost control of the ball. But early days.
Yeah, I mean, it seems a little bit lacklustre. It's one of those pre-season goals where you're not busting the gut to get to the byline. You're certainly not trying to get your hands on your man. Luke Daniels is having a right go at his centre backs because I think it was a little bit too easy. But as you say, it's early doors. I think Brentford haven't really found a foot in this game yet, but there's plenty of time to go.
Yeah, they haven't really started well. They've hardly tested Wycombe, and that was a sloppy goal. They'll be a little bit unhappy about. Friendly or not, and Brentford will look to come from behind. It's always interesting when you see a number of trialists out. They had 6 in the first half the other day, Chris, and I think 7 in the second half at a certain time against Woking.
Yeah, this is certainly the time for it. I mean, especially lower down the leagues with players getting released in the summer, you see a lot of Premier League teams get let go of some youngsters that they don't necessarily want or need, but could do wonders in League 1 or 2.
So Brentford have got to come from behind here. There is Hammer to Tom Field. Gets his head down. That's swung back well there by Paul Smythe, who's on loan for the season. Nice ball into the box, absolute tap-in for the number 18, the trialist. All too easy for Wycombe Wanderers, and Brentford haven't really got into their stride yet. Very, very on in this game though. Pontus Janssen across to Carroll Field again. Well, Collins makes a good run down the centre, but the ball doesn't come forward in time. And here's a chance for De Silva to show what he can do. Turns back to Janssen. Good defending there up the top from Wycombe, working hard. Akinfenwa making sure there isn't an outlet for Brentford. But this is a Brentford way, David. Patience.
Yeah, it is, and it would be strange how Pontus adapts to it, because it'll be slightly foreign to him, really. It's not exactly how they played it at Leeds. I don't think they got it out back very quick.
Well, they were. I thought they were an excellent footballing team.
They were an excellent footballing side, but
when they were down at Griffin
quick.
Park at the end of the season, they were out Brentfording Brentford, but they didn't have any penetration in the final third. Bamford was struggling at that time with his confidence, and they were a bit of a busted flush when they came down there. And I think the result against us was the one that probably, on top of the Wigan result at home where they lost over Easter on Good Friday by 2 goals to 1 after taking the lead and were against 10 men. By the time they came to us, they needed to win that game, and of course went away with a 2-0 defeat, and that was the end of that. Sheffield United were more than happy with what we'd done for them that day. Here is Carroll. It's all very congested in the centre there at the moment. Clark tries to cut the ball back inside, but Wycombe are looking confident. You'd have to say, Chris, in the first 10 minutes we just haven't got going yet.
No, we don't really seem to have found a kind of shape or a rhythm or anything, really. There's players out there that will make the difference when they kind of sidle into the game. We've seen a little bit from Josh. That 1-2 with Jan Zamburt was pretty nice, but it's just finding that third pass that's going to break the back four. I think you're right. I think we will find it eventually. Yeah,
we haven't seen much of Janssen yet. Here is Carroll. Nice ball into the path of Field. Field looks up, sees the run of Marcondes. Marcondes checks and comes over to this side in the end. Short ball by Janssen. There's De Silva, just the link man in the centre. Goes back to Pontus Janssen, then to Carroll, now back out to De Silva once more. Linking up with Zambrick. Trying to create a bit of space for Josh Clark to get round the back. Brentford win a throw halfway now inside the Wycombe half on the far side. Got a good view up here, David. You can see right into the top car park, into the Buckinghamshire Hills. And here's Brentford with a first run through the centre. Nice ball through the field. Field cuts back onto his right foot. Doesn't want to have a goal on his right foot. Brentford do go for goal in the end. It's Hammer who's just leading back. But that was better. And Tom Field, you could see there, Chris, he just didn't want to risk it on his left foot.
Not at all. That was begging to be hit with his right foot. To cut inside on his left, all he has to do is even swing your right foot out and it might go on target. It was a nice enough pass, but I think if you're looking to take that chance as it was, that's a cut inside and shoot.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, he cut back nicely from his left foot to his right foot. Then he suddenly realised he wasn't too comfortable on it. Anyone with a right foot is just going to curl that into the far corner, you hope. But that was better from Brentford. It's taken 12 minutes to do so. And he's showing his pace once again. Tried to play it back off field, but didn't quite work out. It's gone behind for a goal kick, which Brentford had taken quickly. There's De Silva looking to get Brentford going. Back to Jansen again. Of the teams who have done their transfer dealings, Chris, of what you've seen so far, obviously there's going to be a lot more in the next few weeks. Who do you feel will be the big rivals in the league next year?
I think it's probably going to be the teams that you probably necessarily haven't seen too much from yet. I think there's a few players who are deciding their futures. Ironically, I think we've done really well so far. I think there'll be teams up there like the ones who've come down from the Premier League last year. They'll be big hitters. If Fulham keep hold of most of their players, they'll be good. But there's always some surprise ones. That the teams coming up from League One last year aren't exactly weak. So I think Championship, the same as last year, it's going to be a really open division again this season.
A nice ball over the top there into the path of Clark. If he can get there, his ball's just run a little bit too far past him. It was chipped forward quite nicely there, Dave, with a little bit of backspin, but still just ran away. Clark couldn't quite get there.
Yeah, I mean, he left it late to start moving, I felt there. I think if he'd have gone straight away, he would have got there easily.
If he'd seen the ball early on, I think he would have got there quite comfortably.
A friend of mine, Nottingham Forest guy, seems to be quite pleased with some of their signings. I'm not sure exactly what they've done, but...
Well, I don't think it was any shock when Martin O'Neill went. The fans weren't enamoured with the appointment of he and Roy Keane last year. And Roy Keane, of course, went the week before. Yeah. But see, Cardiff have gone for Aidan Flint as well as Will Volk. So Will Volk's another one with a long throw on him. So with Aidan Flint there in the centre, they're going to be playing the usual Cardiff way. And no doubt they'll do well back in the Championship. Good competitors. But as Chris said, could be a very open league. Here's Mark Condis. Hasn't seen too much of the ball early on. Oxen and I up to Clark on the right-hand side. There's young Zambrek. De Silva. Wasted by Clark down the line there.
I think, to be fair as well, Bristol City are one to watch as always. I think Bristol City have always got some good teams.
Edging forward, Chris, aren't they? Every season they're just edging forward.
Started their revolution. I think if they can get a good team in front of it. It's the first, really good goalkeeper they've signed in a long time. I was impressed by Dan's signing. If they can get a back four now that work well, I think that'll be a good side.
Here is Paul Smith, who's got that pace about him. I think he'll be a great acquisition for them for this season, Wycombe. He's a Northern Irish international. Here's Hammer trying to get to the ball. Strong challenge in the centre, wins it and wins it well. That was better from Brentford. Marcondes tries to thread it through to Jansen. Some field wins the ball back.
I think that's what we've seen in pre-season so far. Frederick Hammer loves a challenge.
Yeah.
He's not one to shirk out of it.
And he certainly didn't there. That's what fans want to see in a game like this. But the AFC game, David, was very flat in the first half, but came to life in the second half, and Brentford's quality shone through.
Yeah, it was so much better in the second half, wasn't it? But that challenge there, I mean, 15 years ago, you wouldn't have batted an eyelid at that.
No.
Where now you think, oh dear.
In the modern game,
Yeah.
it's not always allowed. Here he is on the ball again. Oxenden linking up with Carroll. There he is once more. Back to Carroll again. And here's Janssen. Nice pass out there to the far side, but good defending from Wycombe. It comes back to Marcondes. Marcondes then out to Clark. Needs a good ball into the box, and it took a deflection there, back off one of the trialists. A little bit fortunate in the end. It came back to the goalkeeper, and Wycombe will be able to deliver this one upfield, courtesy of Ryan Alsop. 16.5 minutes gone here at Adams Park. 1-0 to Wycombe Wanderers. If you are just joining us wherever you are around the world, maybe you're taking in the Open at Portrush whilst you're watching with one eye on this as well. Any little wagers in the golf, David?
No.
Chris?
Didn't get expired.
No, not this year.
Well, what about Kieran? He's usually quite a good one for an open bet.
He's had some right touches in the majors the last few years. After the Masters last year, Chris, I expected him to be turning up in the car park in a new car on the Monday morning. Was it Patrick Reed he had at 50 to 1?
There's a few people last year that did very well.
Yeah.
B-team staff had a few on him as well.
Ah. We thought they were all just getting paid too much, Dave.
Yeah.
Here's Clark down the right-hand side. Nice ball cut inside to Marcondes. First touch, not the best. Wycombe struggling to clear ball out on the far side. It will be a Wycombe throw. You can see Brentford are starting to have a little bit of joy down that right-hand side, Chris. They've seen a weakness out there that they can try and exploit.
Yeah, we've seen it. That ball in just now where it came off the two centre-backs was quite unlucky. It's certainly finding a few key passes here and there now that seem to liven us up a little bit. I think that was the difference at Wimbledon as well. We just couldn't find it. Couldn't find that final pass.
Yeah.
Once that happens, we're a team that literally look unstoppable sometimes. The third goal was unbelievable for Ollie Watkins.
Super goal. Absolutely super goal. And it was one you just wanted to watch time and time again because it was trademark Brentford. He was moving the ball quickly.
100%. It's one of those things where, you know, it's now become absolutely our style of play. It's no longer just, maybe it depends on the coach, maybe it depends on the people at the club. It's now part of our DNA. That's the attractive football on display.
Foul there on this near side by the goal scorer, number 18. On the team sheet as trialist FW1.
It's a bit silly because there was no need to do that because I think the ball had gone to Marcondes anyway, so it wasn't going anywhere, was it?
Game being played at a sedate pace. Often this time of the year you may have had a couple of water breaks by now, but there's a nice breeze around today. The temperature is not sky high. And it's Pontus Janssen with a header out to the right hand side. And that will be easy for Daniels to leave. Ball runs away for a goal kick. I think Thomas Frank will just be expecting Brentford to step it up a little bit. It's Gareth Ainsworth who's most animated out there. 46 years of age now. He's the second longest serving manager in all 4 divisions, Dave. Do you know who the first is?
No. Eddie Howe?
No. Chris, no?
No, we were having this conversation the other day. I didn't know then either. I
Jim Bentley. Jim Bentley at Morecambe.
All right.
Eddie Howe's third. That would have been, I think, a lot of people's first choice. Of course, we're coming up against Bournemouth next week, and they've been very interesting in social media this week, Chris. Something I know you'll be interested in. They've had Eddie Howe mic'd up in the training sessions.
Yeah, a really good idea. We tried to do a few times last season as well. It's a superb insight into what your manager's mindset is. I think with any of our coaching staff, that'd be an interesting one as well. We did it in pre-season with Neil McFarlane for the B team and a little bit of Sam Saunders as well, and it really is a great opportunity to see how they coach the players. Yeah, it's what fans want to see, and a chance for Hammer to show his speed down the right-hand side. He can mop up well at the back, and it's cleared upfield. Janssen leaves it.
And a nice cushion header there towards De Silva. De Silva's lost that to Smythe. Smythe did well, got his body in the way there. He's had a first impressive 20 minutes for Wycombe, Chris.
Yeah, not too bad at all. The two I'm enjoying really much here is Janssen and Akinfenwa. They are absolutely battling every time the ball comes in the air, and so far Janssen's basically got the better of him in the air. It's when he's in the box and stationary, I think that's when Akinfenwa comes into his best, but I'm really enjoying that so far.
Yeah, a couple of times Pontus actually bounced off him but still won the ball, wasn't he?
Exactly, yeah. His positioning is so good that even if he doesn't quite get to the ball, he's still going to win the thing in the air.
He's a very, very strong player, Akinfenwa. Very difficult for people to play against. There he is with a looping header into the box. Easy for Daniels to deal with, and it's rolled out quickly to Josh Clark. Here is Brentford's captain this afternoon, Pontus Jansson. He won't want to start off on a losing side, friendly or not. And here's Carroll. Goes down the centre this time. Brentford looking to win the second ball. Here's Brentford mopping up in the centre field. Back with Carroll once more. And just delaying his pass there was Janssen. Got it clear to Pontus Jansson in the end. Oh, a little flick by Zambrek, didn't come off that time. Tried to be a little bit too clever there, Chris, when possibly wasn't needed.
Yeah, I mean, it's that last final pass. I think Jan just had to take that under control, get going. I think that's exactly what Kevin O'Connor just said to him as he was on the touchline there. Just get it under control, do the easy things, and then you can start to, have a little bit of fun in the middle. But so far we haven't really seen a string of passes where we look like we're confident in possession.
A foul on the far side. Going back to longest standing managers, Thomas Frank is now the 52nd longest standing manager. Goes to show you about the merry-go-round in football. Yeah. And of course Dean Smith is 51st. So free kick for Wycombe on the far side. Brentford will need to deal with this one. It's Janssen's battling for it at the back, and there's been a nudge there in the end on Marcondes. Janssen's just played that against Akinfenwa. It sparked the transfer sparked a big reaction from Leeds fans, didn't it, Chris? And I think they were generally aggrieved that Janssen had gone.
It did, and I think the whole world of football was quite shocked.
Yes,
as you say, I don't think you put that transfer out there. I think there's a few teams you'd have thought automatically, yep, he's going to go to one of those two. When it was Brentford, I think even this mentality of little old Brentford still does exist, of course, and that just isn't the case. He's come here to play football, hopefully do well, and if that means he's going to join a team that play really good football and he can be a huge part of that, fair play. But yeah, I think the Leeds fans in particular were not too happy with either one.
No.
Pontus weren't taking any prisoners there. I don't know if you see that, Mark.
Yeah, I did. Brentford trying to work the ball down this left-hand side. Field with the throw. Janssen himself trying to make himself more available in this game in the centre. And then Pontus Jansson steps up to try and win that one. Here's De Silva, stretches, does well to retain possession. Quickly out to Zambrek. Clark making himself available on the far side. It comes across where the ball was too straight. Made a good run into the box there, Janssen.
Yes, he did. If the pass was up to that would have been an absolutely brilliant move.
Well, Brentford committed into the centre here and made themselves a little bit weak down the right-hand side, but good challenge there by Carroll. Janssen's got this under control. Turns, comes back to Daniels. I thought there might be more Brentford fans here today, David. There were probably more at Wimbledon a few weeks ago, but of course it is the start of the summer holidays, isn't it?
Yeah, it is an easy run, isn't it?
It is to get here. Depends where you start from, Dave.
Well, I suppose so, yeah. Well, isn't Griffin Park the centre of the universe?
Well, we like to think so, don't we? It certainly is for one more season.
Yeah.
And of course we move on to the new ground, which everybody is looking forward to in one way, but will be very sad to say farewell to the old lady that is Griffin Park. But nice, Chris, that the fixture list has been kind to us. First and last game are at Griffin Park of the season. So, and I guess with Barnsley, I think with due respect to them, saying probably not going to have the biggest following. It doesn't make it. You never know league positions at the time, whether it's a playoff game for us or for them. But there shouldn't be too much on the fixture itself. At the time, it's not as if it's a local rivalry, which
at the same
would have made it even more, perhaps a little bit of pressure. Barnsley's what you would call sort of low-key opposition.
Yeah, and at the same time, you could find yourself in a situation where on the last day of the season, you win that game, you win the league. I mean, if that's how crazy the Championship is, you could say to yourself, well, it's not going to be a big game, it's Barnsley, it's not a Fulham or a QPR. And at the same time, we've had so much interest in it. It's one of the fastest selling season ticket seasons we've ever had as a club. Everyone wants to be at that final game, and the only way to do that is to make sure you're a member and a season ticket holder and all the above. And there's so many fans this season who have secured that so early because they know it's going to be a huge game, even if it's not for anything, even if it's for 10th place. It's the final game at Griffin Park.
Yes,
it's had so much history, and it's going to be amazing.
Everyone will want to be there. That was nice football down the centre. Jansen involved again, but Marcondes not the best ball down the centre. Of course, Chris, with Marcondes, we've had him now a couple of seasons, and we're still not entirely sure where his best position is. Here comes Wycombe in the meantime. Here is Smith on the far side, goes for goal himself. Good defending off Jansen. Here's Zambrek, who's won the ball back in the middle, but Smith has won it back again. Much appreciated by the locals. Ball out on the far side, whipped into the box, and there's a header, and there's a second goal. And it's Akinfenwa doubling Wycombe's lead. And it's now Wycombe Wanderers 2, Brentford 0 with 28 minutes gone.
There's hands down the flanks, aren't they? We're not competing down the flanks at all.
No, not at all. And I think that was an example of how strong that man is, because he's got Tom Field and Kenneth Carroll against him at the far post, and he literally holds one off with his right hand, one off with his left, and powers the header through the middle. I think that's just, there's not much you can do about that. As Dave says, you've got to defend the ball in first. On the wing there was absolutely no one with him, and it's just whipped in, and then you just open yourself up to, well, if he heads it, it's in.
Yeah, it's poor defending once again, but you have to credit the work of Smith there for Wycombe Wanderers. Won the ball back on the far side, and the ball was whipped into the box, and there was Akinfenwa coming in. That's where you need your defenders to be strong, but the veteran pro
is, as you say earlier, Emiliano Marcondes is kind of almost struggled to find his true position in this team. He can play at 10, he can play up front, but obviously quite adapted to the way we play, it seems. He's a really good player, he's fantastic on the ball, but just about finding that kind of ability to kind of read the other players around him, and obviously at the moment it's not helping. He's with Hammer and Zamburek either side, then he's not used to playing with those two. I think as the season goes on, if he does start to play up top more often, he'll find his feet, but as you say, yeah, he's not quite done that yet.
We're coming up to the half an hour mark, and there was a man at the moment. Smith doing good work again down this right hand side. Here's one of the trialists, the number 15, who put that cross in for the goal. He's looked impressive as well.
Yeah, Wycombe have taken this game by the scruff of the neck. They've said to themselves, we want to win this. That they don't look like a team who are using this for fitness. They want to win this game. I think that's the difference so far. Brentford aren't really applying themselves in the way that they would if this was a Championship game.
No, certainly it's been a slow start, a laboured start, and Brentford never really got out of first or second gear yet. They've got to step it up a few levels and ask a few questions, because friendlies or not, Dave, fans don't like losing to lower league teams.
I don't like losing, Mark. I mean, again, I appreciate it is a friendly. It's all about getting match fitness, match awareness, but it doesn't look like there's a lot of effort going into them achieving that.
Yes, yeah. Brentford need a little bit more intensity in this game, I believe. Here's Carroll. Good defending there by Dominic Gape to win the ball back off him. Very, very comfortable at the moment. Here's Smith, who's come out to this right-hand side. Back. There's a little bit of room out here for McCarthy. Chests it down well, round the back of Field. Field just enough off Field's toe cap there just to get enough of a deflection all the way back to Daniels. But Field being beaten far too easily, Dave, down this near side.
Yeah, he really is. He's hands down every time. You just know he's going to get beaten. And Josh Clark on the other side really hasn't done anything special yet.
Now, obviously, we know who's likely to be in the starting lineup in the full-back positions come the first game of the season. You'd have to say almost certainly next week for the big test against Bournemouth. But then it all starts against Harley Dean and Co at Griffin Park. And it's not a bad game, is it, Dave, to have as your first one there? We've always had rivalry, haven't we, going back with them many years to the season where, of course, only one team went up, and that was Birmingham. We finished second and lost in the playoffs.
That's right. That's right. I mean, it's funny, isn't it? There was a lull in the middle of that, 'cause I suppose we weren't in the same divisions, but we seem to have got the better of it last. What the referee done there?
The referee, I think that he was pulling back a foul before,
Right.
but then it hit the referee, and referee said, well, pulling up for a foul. I must admit, it seemed a little bit generous. And it very much looked, Chris, as if he was just saying, well, it hit me, and it wasn't going to them.
Yeah, cannoned off his hand. I thought he was giving a handball at first.
No, he actually gave a drop ball, didn't he?
Here's Zambrek. He's not been happening for him today, or De Silva. De Silva working hard to win the ball back. He's done well there in his defensive duties. But Brentford will need to step it up. Thomas Frank is up off his seat, leaning against the side of the dugout, but doesn't look too happy with things, and I'm not surprised so far. Here's Field. Field then back to Daniels. Oh, Pontus Jansson's been caught, but the referee's given a foul. It's all very laboured, David, all very, very slow.
There's not a lot of movement off the ball, Mark, is there? That's the problem. They get the ball and they've got no angle to pass to.
It's not working in the midfield at the moment, Chris, at all.
No, I think at the moment there's a few lazy passes like that from Zambrek. I mean, he's trying to keep hold of the ball. We've seen Josh De Silva lose it a few times. I think it's the intensity.
Yes.
I think there's no quick passes. There's no nothing at the moment. If we saw in the middle earlier, if Josh De Silva doesn't take a touch and passes it out to the wing, then Zamburek's got a one-on-one. But he didn't. He took his time, went backwards, and as you see now at the moment, Canis is not passing it forward. Jako's going sideways as well. We just need a little bit more intensity in our game.
Absolutely.
It looks like most of this team played yesterday, and I know they didn't, but that's how it looks.
De Silva. Now here's Carroll. Field free on the left-hand side. Good pass to Carroll. Hammer makes a run. He's come inside. It's Janssen, just outside the penalty area. Janssen free on the far side. Zambrek, and Zambrek's lost his footing. He's regained it now. A good shot. And this should be a tapping for Hammer. And Brentford have got a goal back here.
He enjoyed that, Mark. He's a real fist pump there.
Yeah, Brentford back in the game, 35 minutes. Just as we were saying, Chris Deacon, that Brentford have really got to step it up with a little bit more intensity. Some good work there. Janssen played it out to Zambrek. Zambrek lost his footing, still got a good shot in when he recovered. Good save from the keeper, Allsop, but it broke kindly for Frederick Hammer.
As we just said, it needs to liven up. The passing was quicker, and suddenly you had a quick pass down the left. It gets into the middle. It was sharp. It was quick. The ball to Jan Zambrek was a little bit too much, but he took it in his stride, lost his foot, and did well. I think Fred was so happy because he got a couple of opportunities in the Wimbledon game, and I think he was waiting for that goal under the eyes of Thomas Frank. I think if he'd have scored there and today, you might have said, oh, he's a real prospect. But getting that goal today will do wonders for him, I think. But as we say, yeah, a right game, a much better attack, and actually game on now.
Yeah, we've won a throw on the far side, a few yards from the corner flag. And Brentford fans will be hoping we get back on level terms before the break. Just 9 minutes remaining of this first half. Brentford will be kicking towards their fans in the second half. Here is Carroll looking for options. Field on this left-hand side. Field first time ball into the box, but doesn't pick out a man in red and white. Janssen against Akinfenwa. And just leaning into the back there of the big man. I think even you'd bounce off Akinfenwa, Dave.
I think I probably would, yeah. He's a
Not
solid...
unless you've been working on your upper body strength this summer.
difference between him and me is that he's a solid lump, I'm just a lump.
Ball played down the left channel. Janssen's just going to see this one run away. Well, that'll give everybody a little bit of a lift because it was starting to get frustrating, Chris.
Yeah, a little bit. I mean, as you said before, we finally seem to be in this game. I think Pontus's point back there was, how's Akinfenwa falling over? He's bigger than me.
Here's Pontus Janssen.
I mean, you see it now. You've got Field further forward. You've got Clark further forward. Everyone just seems to be a little bit higher and on their toes. I think that's what we needed to liven this up a little bit. Because if you go into half-time 2-0 down, I think you're kind of wondering what to do if you're Thomas Frank.
Yeah, exactly. And he's got a number of options on the bench. Gunnarsson in goal. Tito, De Silva, O'Connor, Jay Nolan, Ali Coote and Gustav Morgensen. But I would have thought he would want to see a little bit more from the troops out there, which remains the case. But great to see Frederick Hammer get that goal. He was pleased with it. Nice poacher's goal there, David.
Yeah, it certainly was. Yeah, it was very alert.
See them being in the right place at the right time. Handball there from Akinfenwa. They get their campaign underway here at Adams Park against Bolton Wanderers, who are having a desperate time still, obviously, Chris.
Will they have a game?
Well, will they have a team?
Yeah.
Let's see. That is the thing. When you go back to where they were just 15, 20 years ago, it's a sad decline for their fans.
100%. I think, especially with a team with a following like Bolton's, they've got a lot of loyal fans, a lot of fans who've been there for years and years.
Yeah.
And you know, when Sunderland went down, for example, going back to League One was almost a blessing in disguise. They were able to get their fan base back together, come together and really, you know, bring crowds of over 40,000 every week. I think for Bolton it's going to be a struggle because they have to sort things out early doors, and so far that doesn't seem to be
Yes, yeah.
I say,
happening
Mike,
the right way.
you feel so sorry for the supporters.
Yeah, they'll have, you know, a lot of their supporters will be back to the Burton Park days, and yeah, they're a great club. And always used to enjoy watching them play, always used to play attractive football, but what was going on there? The absolute farce with our so-called game when it was going to be played at the end of the season, when I think pretty well everybody knew, Chris, that this just isn't going to get on. It's not going to happen.
No, exactly. I think there was a discussion at one point whether we play the B team versus the 23s, and in the end it was just call it off. You know,
Yeah,
I think everyone at the club was expecting it to be called off. I think the players were expecting it to be called off first time. I think in that situation you can't really expect both teams to field a side if you've gone on that late.
Here's Janssen, who was involved for that goal back for the Bees. Pontus Janssen through the centre. Zambrick. Here's De Silva. Brentford now trying to move the ball quickly. Have they got a response before half time? Into the centre to Zambrick, who we know can do a bit better in this first half. Nice ball out to Field. Field takes it down well. Battling for it nicely. That ball did go out. It will be a Brentford throw about 3 yards from the corner flag.
The linesman didn't give it, the referee gave it, and the linesman flagged afterwards. You'd have thought the linesman would have had a better view of that.
Well, we've got a good view of it here. It was clearly out. Hammer back to Field, cuts it back nicely. Hammer once more. Poor ball into the box that time. Well, Brentford have just outnumbered them here. It's Janssen, plays the ball across to Marcondes. Marcondes' first touch was a little bit heavy. Not sure where he wanted to move the ball, but it hasn't quite worked for him down the centre so far today, Chris.
No, and I think in that particular area, I think he was pointing where he wanted the ball. He wanted it into his stride so he could swing his left foot at it, and it came at him on the chest height, and he kind of had to control it, and it wasn't really great. I think that's the other thing, just being able to work with your teammates and just be like, look, here's what I want, here's what Emiliano prefers, and on that occasion it just wasn't the greatest ball in.
It's come off Field last. Daniel will have to stop that going for a corner, which he does well. There's definitely been a shift in the game here. Half time probably going to come just in time for Wycombe. But Thomas Frank will welcome the break to tell his troops they need a little bit more intensity in this game, and we'll be looking for a lot better in this second half. Marcondes has come deep to win this one. Looks as if De Silva's having to play a little bit deeper than he would like, Chris.
Yeah, I think he's definitely one of those players who's more of an 8 than a 6 in traditional terms, but he's got the ability for both. And I think if you're Carroll and Janssen now, you're kind of happy that he's sat there because it gives you an outlet. You don't have to worry about dropping too deep, and he'll do the passing for you. He's certainly got the pace to go up front if he needs to as well. He can burst forward from anywhere.
Well, Brentford win it back well. Marcondes out to Clark. Clark crosses the ball back, and well, that's what we've seen from Josh Clark. I think, Chris, a little bit too often the final ball was lacking.
Yeah,
so
and I think
didn't come near to picking out a man. It was as if he hesitated and played it across, hopefully, rather than with intent to a man.
I think Jan Zamburik's got to tell him there. I think an older player might. I think Zamburik just kind of passed it off as I didn't get the ball that time. But I think if you're in a championship game and that happens, you are screaming at him because that's a clear pass. You play it inside, all you have to do is slot it away, and just a little bit of hesitation. I think he needs to try and find that. Again, it's what we saw in the first half, a little bit of snappiness, a little bit of kind of quick play, and then you get a goal there as well.
Here's Pontus Janssen, the captain. Nice disguised pass there to Marcondes. Zamburik linking up well with Marcondes in the centre, bit of space for Janssen. Can play the ball out to Field nicely. Field looks up, looking for options. Good ball floated to the far post and then chested behind. There'll be a Brentford corner right on the stroke of half time.
A little bit of lack of communication there on the Wycombe flanks there, wasn't there? There was no need for that to go to a corner at all. And again, I think, cross there from Tom Field, like Josh Clark early on, it was like, it wasn't a cross to anybody, it was just a cross into the centre, wasn't it?
Yeah, and I think that, to be fair, we saw that the left-hand side is having more luck than the right at the moment. That pass from Jensen out to the left-hand side was perfect, and the final ball from Tom's a little bit off, but it was a good ball. I think we're having certainly more joy down that left so far.
In comes the corner from the far side. It's away from goal, and Janssen was dipping for that one. Couldn't quite make contact. Chance for Wycombe to break on this near side. Ball down to Smythe. He needs to get it out of his feet quickly. Try to play it into the pass of the trialist, number 18, who scored that first goal this afternoon. Good defending there from Brentford. But Janssen, Chris, gives us that option for corners. Although we were successful with corners with our different routines last season, we didn't score too many directly. Well, welcome back to the second half here of this friendly here on YouTube at Brentford. A nice stream organised by the club to try and bring you some enjoyment this afternoon, and it's fair to say, I think, David, in the first half there hasn't been too much enjoyment for Brentford fans. It was frustrating, but that late goal just before half time from Frederick Hammer has given Brentford a bit of a new lease of life, and we should see Brentford step it up in the second half.
Yeah, I mean, the first 30 minutes were very lacklustre. It almost seemed like, dare I say it, they weren't bothered. That's how it almost came across.
But they would have been, but it was turgid, wasn't it?
Yeah, but they stepped it up after the goal, and they looked the better team after that. But up until that point, Wycombe were deserving of their 2-0 lead.
Final score prediction, Chris? We could still have them for friendlies.
Yeah, I mean, we could probably, I reckon Wycombe has still probably got a goal in them, but we've got a few more. I'd say about 3-3.
Well, we've seen a few changes for Wycombe Wanderers. Trialist number 2 is on. Nick Freeman is out there down the centre as well, and Bloomfield. So I've not seen any changes from the B. But
we've got Ali Coote.
Ali Coote who's just come, and that's a
goalkeeper
one change we can see, and the keeper as well. But majority of outfield players, I'll say, here is De Silva.
I actually quite like Patrick Gunnison. I think he's going to be a good prospect for the future.
De Silva once more. No real movement. We know what Ali Coote can do. He's a real live wire. You've seen plenty of him, Chris.
Yeah, he's certainly got a lot to offer this team. He's one of those people that gets things going. He's very much a quarterback in these situations. He reads the play and then sets it off in much the same way De Silva does, but it might allow Josh De Silva just to roam forward a little bit more as well.
A nice ball there by Zambrek out towards Tom Field. Flick down the far side. Coote turns back towards his men in the midfield, which is De Silva. Nice ball into the box. A good run there by Hamer. He's made some good runs this afternoon. He's been impressed with his movement.
He has, and in that instance, I think he almost hesitated a little bit too much. He wanted the ball over the top, then didn't quite get on the burners, and the ball over the top was really nice. I think we've got the capability to play some really nice football over the top. It's just a case of actually predicting it's going to happen.
Ball through to Marcondes, fires it back to Zambrek. It gets under control nicely, gets it back from Janssen again. They're trying to get away from the trialist, who takes him down on this near side. It looks like it's Janssen who has gone off. Janssen has gone off. It's not the best pass there by Pontus Janssen to Marcondes. And had his arms out as if to say, I'm not sure why you were choosing me there. A chance for Wycombe to test Brentford at the start of the second half. Here is Freeman. Little step over, chance to cross it into the box. Puts a decent cross in, but that's easy for Gunton. Rolls it out to Carroll. Brentford looking to move the ball down the left hand side. Not the best ball by Field, and it's played comfortably back to Ryan Alsop. Long high ball in the air. Good header by Field that time, but Hammer's close control let him down on that occasion. Another high ball up to this fairly strong wind we've got here. Mikhail Smith, nice ball down the far side. That's better from Wycombe. Chance for a shot here. Comes back to the edge of the box once more. Bloomfield on the ball, gets it wide. The ball set up into the box. Here's Freeman once more. Into the penalty area. Bloomfield, the captain, back out to this near side to one of the trialists. To another trialist who goes for the far corner and gets that completely wrong. Good 20 yards wide, but that was decent from Wycombe, and a little bit like the first half, we haven't really settled again yet.
No, not really. I mean, that was nice from Wycombe, to be fair. They've seemed to change a few players up top, got a few fresh legs in there. They're trying to see what they can do. I think their game plan is clear. Allsop keeps blasting it forward, and the forwards keep getting after it. I think Brentford are just struggling a little bit, because you don't often see that in the Championship, and that's maybe confusing at first, but they'll settle into it again.
Oxenden, who's stepped back in a deeper position. They're trying to step up Josh Clark and Tom Field and play three at the back. That's why Oxenden's just gone back a little bit deeper into the game, with Ali Coote trying to forge a link just behind the front two, with Frederick Hammer trying to roam down that far side. Carroll, quick ball to Field, back to Carroll again. Don't see too many options. That's often the trouble, Chris, we've seen in the first half. Not enough movement.
No, not enough movement, not enough sharpness. Just you're looking for, especially with the Wycombe team, who are trying to do well to defend, and actually you can see their shape from here, just doing really well to settle back in when they defend. I think from Brentford's perspective, we need a little bit more oomph, a little bit more kind of, there it is from Ali Coote, bringing defenders out of the way, dragging the ball across the field, and making sure we've got control instead of the other team.
Here's Carroll into Wycombe territory, goes across field. Zembarek holds it up nicely, but going down a bit of a cul-de-sac. It's a foul coming on into Dominic Gate.
I think he was almost begging for the foul there, because he was going nowhere.
Yeah, it was coming away from goal. Just a little bit too far out against the wind for De Silva to have a go for goal. The referee just pacing the 10 yards back.
It's 30 yards out, isn't it?
It's a good free kick that beats the keeper from there.
The way they're setting up, though, looks like that's what they're going for, because there's not many people actually looking like they're going to attack this. Getting back into position now.
Condis fancies it.
Then again, you know what we like with set pieces. This could go to Zambioric, no one else.
Well, Canis Carroll is just standing about 2 yards ahead of the three-man wall. Janssen comes to join him. Just trying to cover the keeper here. There is Marcondes, goes for the dip for the far corner, and is palmed away well there by Ryan Allsop, and Ali Coote just closes in on the clearance there. Make sure that Jason McCarthy can't get it too far upfield. They win the throw, Wycombe.
It was a good strike.
It was a good strike.
It was so far out, it gave the keeper plenty of time to move across the ball, didn't it?
It certainly was going in the far corner. You couldn't knock his accuracy there at all. Mr. Silva just a little bit late there on Mikhail Smith in the midfield. Many will remember him plying his trade when he was at the peak of his powers, really, seemed to be with Peterborough, with forging that excellent partnership up front with McLean, George Boyd as well. They ran away with the league, didn't they?
See, Boyd's gone back there now, hasn't he?
Yeah. As Janssen clears it. That time, no Akim Fenwa to deal with in this in the second half. He's done his job. There's Clark trying to find Marcondes. That's not the best pass there, and Hammer nearly got there, but it was dealt with well by the centre-back trialist for Wycombe, he's looked assured at the back as well.
Yeah, I mean, Wycombe look like they haven't got a bad player out there on the field at the moment. They're all doing their job.
Well, they haven't done a lot of business this season so far in the transfer window. Patterson coming in or arriving free from Middlesbrough, but you would imagine they'll be making could be making a few signings. Some of these trialists have certainly impressed. Oxenden tries to play it through to Hamo. Just he had stealed a march and was a couple of yards offside. Had the ball come through to him, runs all the way through to Allsop, and 52 minutes gone. Second half again has lacked a little bit of intensity so far, Chris, from Brentford.
Yeah, I was just listening to the Yeah, analysis team beside us who have got a direct line to Kevin O'Connor on the bench, they're just asking for a little bit more kind of, I think the play is right, the angles are right, it's just the intensity again. It's just getting the players to understand that if you're going to play this type of football, it needs to be sharp, it needs to be quick passes, then you open the gaps, because that's what we've lacked so far.
Absolutely, and that's the way we play. You were talking about it's now in our DNA. It's what we've become used to the last few years, and we haven't seen enough of that this afternoon. In the meantime, Wycombe have won a corner. You'd say they've certainly got more experience out there in this second half, although Akin Fenwa has come off. Mikhail Smith come on, he will give the defenders a different type of option. Oh, the volley comes in, well, spectacularly wide from the edge of the box. That was from the number 2 trialist FW2. Shame they don't get names, isn't it?
Yeah. So that one just went past the post, didn't it? But it was the corner post.
Yeah. It probably looked good for about 6 inches off his boot. Would have been spectacular if it had been on target, but it was woefully wide. Here's Canis Carroll. Holds his arms out. Where's my options? Pontus Janssen just about gets it out of his feet before it was stolen off him by Mikhail Smith. Here's Josh Clark. Well, it was a good ball by Clark because he's expecting Zambrek to continue his run, but Zambrek had checked back. There he is trying to close the keeper down. Janssen battling with Mikhail Smith, who's come up with two wily veterans of English football in the second half. That's a good ball there from De Silva. Here's Coote charging through the centre. Coote still going, goes for goal himself and hits the post. This should be in from the rebound, and it is from Marcondes. It's 2 apiece, and Brentford are back on level terms in the 55th minute.
Absolutely, I think that's exactly what we said Ali Coote was come on to do. He's that player who can just unlock the gap, just do that little bit extra, take the extra touch, cuts inside. His shot, not exactly perfectly placed, but it bounces back, and that's what Marcondes is good at, just reacting quickly, using his skill to just put it in the net, and that's 2-2, exactly where we want it to be.
Yeah, it's a little bit of injection of pace, a little injection of enthusiasm, and boom, you know, we scored.
On the right spot, and that time it was Marcondes. He managed to volley it straight into the back of the net. 2-2. Oh, and just nearly a calamitous own goal there off Canis Carroll. One thing's for sure, Chris, when you come to a friendly, what you like to see is a few goals.
Yeah, 100%, and goals like that, you know, ones that are dramatic, long balls forward, playing the ball neat inside, and as Dave said, little injection of pace, little bit of excitement, and yeah, it comes off the post, and Marcondes gets the chance. He's kind of wanted all afternoon, just to put something in the back of the net. That's what's going to give him the confidence now to maybe try a few different things. You see him now coming deeper to get the ball and actually just try and explore a few things.
Marcondes through to Zambrek, who flicks it through to De Silva, holds it up nicely, and there's a ball round the back for, didn't just have enough weight on it for Josh Clark to run onto. It was the right idea. De Silva's got it again, gets away from his man beautifully, great skills, nice little flick there to Josh Clark. Back to De Silva once more, just on the edge of the box. Marcondes, lovely football for Brentford here, and De Silva can't quite get round the back, but that's more of the Brentford DNA that you were talking about, Chris.
100%.
Incisive passing, first time ball, not allowing the defenders to set themselves.
And what I like there about Josh Clark was that the ball wasn't fantastically into his path, but he didn't give up. He closed the defender down, he turned around, and suddenly Josh Clark's in his face. He gives the ball away really easily, and we're back in possession. And that's what we're good at as well, pressing high when we need to, and making sure that even if the ball goes loose, it's going to be ours again eventually.
Here's Zambrek once more. Goes across field to Tom Field. Just behind him is Coote, the man who hit the post, set up that second goal with a dynamic run. Inside to Oxon, and good bout there at the back. There's Carroll. That could be a good floated ball in the end to Josh Clark. There's a lot of space on his right-hand side. Gets it under control, checks back onto his left foot, looks up. Defenders have been allowed to set themselves now. Here's De Silva, 10 yards outside the penalty area. Oxon to Carroll, opens up his body, comes back to Janssen, points to both flanks. Carroll once more. I think what we saw there again from Josh Clark was perhaps the reason, I don't want to sound critical of him, why he hasn't stepped up further. He's in a little bit of space there. It all slowed down. He's waiting, almost deciding what he wants to do, where to play it. It's where you need to play that first time ball into the box. Someone will be making the run, but he's not picking those out.
Especially in a friendly, when you've got the chance to maybe, if it goes wrong, it's all right, it doesn't really matter, there's nothing riding on it. I think if you drop into that space, just whip the ball in. If I'm Josh Clark there, I'm just smashing it towards the 6-yard box and see what happens, because Wycombe are on the back foot, you've got a few players arriving, anything could happen in that situation.
And literally 2 seconds later, everyone's set in defence and the chance has gone. I know Marcus Gale has always said he's got the pace, but it's that final ball with him. Just hasn't got that in his locker yet. Here he is on the ball. He's been a bit of a forgotten man, Dave. 3 seasons ago, he's getting a few goals. Used to like scoring at Loftus Road, but been out on loan. Big season for him this one if he's going to do anything.
The thing is, he dropped down in division, still never really set the world alight.
No, exactly. You want to see your players dominating when that happens. And well, the referee waving play on here. Coote was taken down by Bloomfield. It's broken to Marcondes. Marcondes wide to Field. De Silva starting to run the show now on the ball again here.
He's playing more central as well. Yes. He was playing out more on the wing before, wasn't he?
Too deep. Nice run by Zambrek, and passes it through to Hammer. Much appreciated by the Brentford fans behind the goal. But what we're seeing here is De Silva on the ball more, Zambrek coming infield more, being more influential than being as he was out on the flank in the first half, Chris.
Well, that's one of the things that Jan Zambrek impressed so much with the team we brought him from. They were impressed with the fact that his footwork is fantastic, and you saw it there. Nothing was really on. Josh De Silva gives him the ball, he asks for it, and he just cuts inside and disappears, and suddenly he's behind the back line. I think that if that ball was a little bit better, Fred gets onto the end of it, but you forget out there how the average age of our team is very young right now. I think given experience, given game time, they will develop it, especially Jan, into a very good player.
We're going to see a change for Brentford soon, and I think another couple of changes for Wycombe here. Going off is Jason McCarthy, and coming on is trialist right back 1, number 24.
Our change is going to be Kane O'Connor, either it's going to be Pontus who's walking across the byline now. Yeah, it is, it's going to be Pontus.
Yeah, Pontus Jansson is going off. There's going to be another trialist coming on for Wycombe.
The captain's armband goes to Emiliano Marcondes.
Bloomfield's off. Mikael Smith. Going to be a long ball played here by Allsop forward. So Marcondes with the armband now, and here is De Silva. Good skills. So Kane O'Connor, chance to show what he can do this afternoon. And he's on this right side at the centre back at the moment as number 11 Jaakko Oksanen has gone deeper still. Nice ball through to Hammer, who's onside here. Tries to flick the ball into the box for the run of Field, and it's cleared over the stand into the car park.
Very close to where my car's parked, Mark.
Marcondes making himself available with a run. This throw is level with the edge of the penalty area. Only Zambrek in the centre. And Field has just been out battle there, and then takes down his man as well.
Yeah, I think this is a league match. Tom Field will be in trouble now, because he should have been booked earlier. A few minutes ago, that was definitely a booking, and 5 minutes later he does another sort of quite cynical foul. I suppose you feel you can get away with them at friendlies.
Well, it's 2-2 if you're just joining us. Brentford were 2-0 down. Very lacklustre first half an hour. They scored just before half time. And got an equaliser there with Marcondes after very good work by Ali Coop when he hit the post. Now Brentford bringing the ball away from deep inside their own half. Not too many options for De Silva, but he's played it into the path of Clark. Beautifully weighted. Clark is checked back. Comes to De Silva once more.
So I felt there Clark had the pace to go away from that.
Yeah, I don't know why he checked back. It was worth, again, it was one of those ones where I think, Chris, he's made the wrong decision.
Yeah, as you said earlier, and I think Dave picked up on it there, there's the chance there just to burst past him and see what you can do. I think maybe he just doesn't maybe trust himself to get there, or maybe he just thought there was a lack of options, but he's turned back around again and, as you say, just giving it straight back to De Silva.
And Carroll's done well there. He's played that against Scott Cashket. Wilfred Diego, which is Richard Smith, has said, please read this out, Mark. Brentford fans cricket team have got a game next Thursday at Staines and Laleham, and they're looking for players, which is it's a 2020 game, 5:45, so if you do fancy that, it's at Wilfred_Diego on Twitter. And you can all pretend to be Ben Stokes, I guess. Or Johnny Bairstow. Lots of heroes out there now, Chris, for the cricket team. Do you play a bit yourself?
I used to, not anymore. But yeah, that entire day the other day, the Formula One, the cricket, the tennis, it was insane.
Unbelievable.
So much going on.
Here's Josh Clark charging down the right side. He was pulled back there by the trialist, but referee allowing play to go on. He's going to have check back now and try and bring in Zambrek. De Silva just slipped over when he was previously available, so it's come back to O'Connor. Here's Coote once more looking to get things going to Zambrek. Quick feet from Zambrek, too quick there for Dominic Gape. Another foul on him. Zambrek, I think, Dave, has been a real standout in what we've seen in the Wimbledon games and today.
Yeah.
He's looking to get involved. Here's Clark once more.
Just a little bit raw at the moment, isn't he? You can just see him getting better, can't you?
Yes, yeah. Always wants the ball. Always wants to be involved. Here's De Silva.
And like I say, he's not the biggest of chaps, but he doesn't have to get stuck in,
Yes,
doesn't he?
yeah, he certainly does. His enthusiasm has always shone through in the B team games as well, Chris, I understand.
Yeah, he's been fantastic for them. As Dave says, he's always wanted to get involved, always wants to be on the ball, even if he's not in the best area, he wants to see what he can do and really test himself. And as you say, that's really a raw feature. That's a characteristic you don't necessarily get from an older player. Jan is willing to try anything down there.
Well, there's Coote, who's got very, very quick feet. That scampering way of running. But he's injected some life into the Brentford midfield.
He really has, Mark, exactly, you say that, and it's actually brought the others along with him.
Yes, yeah. Carroll up to field. Brentford retaining possession well here. Patient with the build-up. Who's De Silva, who's come deep. Oh, good work here by Dominic Gate, but Connor's got that under control. Back to Gunnarsson, who goes high down the centre. Easy header. One back there by one of the Wycombe trialists. Freeman out to the far side. And there's a run through the centre by Mikhail Smith. Zambrek straight to the path of Clark. That's better from Clark. Goes directly forward. He was fouled. The referee's given the advantage. Here's Marcondes across to De Silva. Brentford moving the ball nicely. Just turns and comes back. Field looks to the heavens. They're expecting the ball through there. As Paul Wycombe across. There's a lot of space out here for Josh Clark. First time ball from Clark. Checks back, waits for the run from Marcondes. Plays it to the new Brentford captain, the man who's got the equaliser. Looking for options himself. Short ball, looking for the 1-2 here, driving towards the edge of the box, but good work there by number 2 trialist to bring the ball away. And here is Mikhail Smith. Tried to play the ball into the number 25, I must admit, was his look-alike. Without looking at the numbers, we all thought that was Mikhail Smith.
Certainly did.
Down the centre, I was quite surprised when he came on off the bench. They were playing the same way with that scampering run as well. It's good run through the centre from Brentford. Referee didn't miss that. Brentford got a free kick. As in the Wimbledon game, Chris, Brentford are starting to show their quality now.
Yeah, I think they are. I think they've found where they need to do and what they need to improve on. They're certainly keeping possession a lot more. You've got players warming up on the side, like Titov, De Silva and Mogensen. So you've got options on the wings and the forwards, and wouldn't be surprised if we see a little bit from them as well. So there's certainly some pace to come on. So if we can control the game here as well, maybe we'll get a couple more goals.
Yeah, may see De Silva down the left-hand side. But there's a good ball into the box, and he's just offside there.
Yeah, he was. He didn't look across the line.
No, he didn't. He'd be disappointed because looking across the line, he should have perhaps been had a little bit more awareness. That will come with his experience. But he's lively. So we may also see Morganson come on, David Titov as well. And Jaden Onan, who scored a decent goal the other day, I believe, Chris.
Very nice goal.
There's Gunnarsson. Oh, Gunnarsson was second to the ball there. And, well, had he not timed that well, he may have brought down Scott Cashkit and given away a penalty. But
the ball just seemed to hang there, didn't it? I think Foxy almost jumped too early for it then.
Here's Oxenden driving from deep inside his own half. Chips De Silva out towards Clark on this near side. Clark, good ball inside that time to Marcondes. 3 players round him, gets out of his seat quickly. Here's a lovely ball into the box. Here's Coote charging forward. Coote goes for goal. He wins a corner. Good defending there off one of the trialists for Wycombe Wanderers, but a lovely move right through the centre, and Coote tried to go back into the far corner. Good defending there from Wycombe. That was
absolutely great move. It really was. But the only thing you say is that Ali Coote there, almost you expect him to drag it back, but if it hadn't been defended, it would have been on target, I'm sure.
Takes a corner himself, comes to De Silva just outside the box. He's got Canis Carroll as an option, but uses Field instead. Field charges forward. Good defending there by Cashkit to stay with him. Here is Carroll, floats it to the far side, looking for Coote once more. Good defending by Wycombe, and now they can break with trialist number 2 running directly. He's going to take on Josh Clark. Holds the ball up well. Freeman trying to turn back. He's come back inside, just caught Zambrek there at the same time, and the trialist number 2 tries to put that into the far corner. And it's gone behind for a goal kick, but there's going to be a little bit of a break here as Oxenden just gets himself to his feet, and he's just intimated that he got a whack.
Yeah. I think he did, and I don't think it was any intention though. I think it's just as the guy ran away, his trailing arm caught him.
Here is Carroll on the far side. O'Connor. Marcondes. Picking out the ball deep. And here is Oxenden that sees Frederick Hammer. Just got that wrong, but it's retrieved there well on the far side by Coote, trying to flick it down the lines. Come back to him again. Then to Hammer, who's stays on side, runs the line well this time. Holds it up nicely, but comes all the way back to Canis Carroll. We're into the 73rd minute. Will there be a late winner in this game? 2-2, if you're just joining us on this blustery afternoon here in Buckinghamshire. It's what's become a traditional pre-season friendly. That's not the best pass there from Carroll, straight between the 2 options on the far side.
It's almost like he was deliberately putting it out to stop play, isn't it? But I'm sure that wasn't the case.
Straight to Garrett Sainsbury's feet. Throw down the line. There's Alex Samuel battling for the ball. Because they only just saw off relegation last year, Chris. They had a really poor run towards the end of the season. managed to accumulate 53 points in the end. 50 points was the decisive number, although AFC Wimbledon stayed up on that on goal difference. Hammer into the centre. Good work there by Oxner. Now he's Marcondes again.
So I think it was a fantastic job by Wally Downs to keep them up, because when he went in there, you thought they were gone. So he really did turn it round there for them.
Here's De Silva. So hopefully we'll get plenty of Brentford fans at Griffin Park for the game against Premier League outfit Bournemouth next week. Chance to see Chris Metham and some of the Bournemouth stars. It's always a good run out for the team, a good test for them. And we should get good numbers there, and hopefully a little bit of sunshine as well. A little back heel there from De Silva that didn't quite work out. Here is O'Connor having to work hard at the back. He was fouled at the same time as well. They take the free kick quickly. Brentford are going hunting for a winner here. It's Field down the left side. Nice ball inside to De Silva. First touch was a little bit too heavy on that occasion. And a nice ball down the far side to Kashkit for Wycombe Wanderers. To Mikhail Smith, went for Kashkit again. He's saying he was pushed to the ground, thumps the grass in frustration, but nothing given by the referee.
Yeah, I need VAR on that, so I didn't really. I see him go down, but I didn't see if there was any contact.
I think we've seen enough VAR, haven't we, Chris, this summer?
Probably, yeah. To be fair, I think there's a weird one. He disappeared between the gap between Carroll and Field, and kind of, it was one of those where the forward seems to get a little bit of contact and goes down, but I don't think either one of them were concentrating on him.
O'Connor to Carroll. Field's available on the right, but they decide to come back and use this right-hand side. Oxenden once more. You can see with Coote's movement, Chris, he's looking for the ball all the time, as is Zambarek up the front.
Yeah, I think in the same vein as Reece Cole, when he kind of came through and we had a lot of talented midfielders players, it was hard for him to break into the team. I think Ali's facing the same sort of similar problems. He's faced with, first of all, Romain Sawyers and Cameron Makacho, two very well-established midfielders, and so to get his chance, he's going to have to play really, really well. And so far, this pre-season, he's looked very bright, very sharp.
He's a different player to both of them, though, isn't he? He's a much more attacking, sort of nippy little midfielder rather than their sort of creative midfielding.
Yeah, of course. I think he's got to offer something different to those two.
Yeah.
I think if you are going to be that other option, I think when we talk about being, maybe 1-0 down or whatever as the game carries on, you've got to have a plan B, and that could be Ali Coote. And I think he's certainly hoping it will be.
Is Zambarek.
Especially with Ali, I mean, he's played football in Scotland as a 15-year-old, so he's got professional games under his belt already. It's certainly harder for him to.
Here's a good ball into the box, and there's a chance for Zambarek. He's offside, late flag, missed anyway, over the bar. Very late flag there.
Yeah, quite late. I didn't know if it was offside. Again, maybe VAR will clear it up.
Not sure they're going to get VAR for friendlies, but yeah, we've certainly seen enough of that in the Women's World Cup this year. We've got 2 more substitutions now.
I mean, not even getting VAR in the Championship next year, are we? It's just purely for the Premiership.
Yeah. So 2 of the trialists have gone off of the centre backs, and we're going to see trialist number 6. Oh, yeah, and trialist number 12. "12 minutes left of this pre-season friendly game. There's Zambarek battling for the ball in the centre. gets the decision. Brentford in no great hurry to take it. No clear options. Is De Silva the man who's you feel will be the one more likely, Chris, to thread through a decisive pass in this game? He and Zambarek.
Yeah, and I think in general this season, I think the championship is there for the taking for Josh De Silva. He's got so much talent about him. He's used to the game now. He's got players around him that are really good and talented as well. You turn around, he's got Pontus Jansson. He looks ahead of him. You've got, the likes of, all the front three, Ollie Watkins, Said, Neil. You've got, still at the club, all those people that are going to be great options for him.
Yeah, so many options. Norgard in the centre, Makocho, Sawyers, and
Norgard looked very good, didn't he?
He did. He had lovely awareness of everything about him. Always nice to see you score a goal on your debut, even if it's a friendly, and did all the simple stuff, Dave.
Yeah.
It was a joy to watch. And they talked about he'll be a great addition to the team as well as a leader off the pitch. And the one thing it does give us, Chris, is what we've needed for years: options.
Yeah.
We haven't had too many options. We haven't had too many plan Bs. But now, hopefully, what we've seen some sides that have been successful. You see managers go out there picking sides to play certain teams. And you've always thought when you come up against that opposition, well, we've not really ever had that option. We play the one way, whoever you are.
Of course,
doesn't matter how tall you are, whether you play the ball on the deck or whether you go long ball. We'll play that same team out there. We'll have the same personnel out there. It's just a matter of who's fit. That'll be our first 11. But now we can pick and choose.
No, it's a very good point. And I think also, to touch on that mentality-wise, you talk about if you're in a losing run, the first thing you want to do as a manager, I presume, is change those people around. And if you've got maybe one or two that heads have dropped, maybe they've been in a losing team 4 or 5 times, the first thing you want to do is swap out the midfield and say, look, okay, have a little rest, get your mind back to normal, and then see what we can do. You've got Norgard, you've got Sawyers, Makocho, you've got so many options. You've got De Silva, you look at the B team, you've got Coote, Hammer, Oxen, all those players now in midfield that can do an absolute job when it comes to, okay, maybe someone needs to sit out this week. Next week we can field a different team, bring you back into the side when your head's right. And I think mentality in football, especially these days, is huge.
We're just playing devil's advocate there. The only negative side of that is keeping the ones that aren't in the team happy.
Yeah.
Again, that's down to managerial skills, isn't it?
That happens everywhere. It's Hammer trying to come through the centre. Marcondes, well, I've got to try to move from his right foot to his left, but good blocking there from one of the trialists. And Hammer dived in there looking to win it back on the far side. And then there's a foul just on the edge of about 3 yards outside the box. Brentford looking to break at one end and Wycombe going straight up the other.
Yeah. It looks Brentford just about to make a triple substitution.
Yes,
I'm not sure this set piece is the right time to do that, to be quite honest.
I think they will wait. One of the trialists might fancy this one. Trialist number 2. Scott Casket over the ball as well. This one, this free kick is about 7 or 8 yards outside the penalty area, absolutely central. Referee blows the whistle. Goes for the top of the goal and about 2 or 3 yards over.
It was 2 or 3 yards over and Patrick was right underneath it anyway, wasn't he? So no danger there.
You think he may, with a trialist taking that, he may be thinking, this is top bins, new contract.
Yeah, it's certainly a way to impress, isn't it?
But here comes that triple substitution. Hammer going off.
Yeah, so you've got
De Silva on.
You've got a change in each state. You've got defender, midfielder, and an attacker often on the field.
So De Silva comes over to right back.
It's an incredible attempt at Jako's name from the announcer.
Yeah. So Jaden Oden comes on in the midfield. and Gustav Morgensen up front. And Marcondes went over there to get some instructions. Here is Cole de Silva, tries to cut infield. It was fouled there in the process. Here's O'Connor. So with the two games against Premier League sides coming up this week, Chris, it's all the final chance to get your fitness at the peak level to hit the ground running on the 3rd of August.
Yeah, of course, and I think it's also the chance to get your touch right. I think that's what you see a lot of players complain about on the first day, the rustiness they have, and these games are perfect for that. Just try and get that touch back, try and see how your teammates are dealing with your game as well as theirs, and by the 3rd of August you've got a huge game against Birmingham.
Yeah.
There's a lot of people really interested in that first one. Set the stall out for the championship, and you've got to be top fitness because there's going to be a lot to deal with.
Well, hit the ground running last season, of course, with that 5-1 win against Rotherham, where we were very clinical with our chances, took them all that day, and scored at the right times in the game to give it a very healthy-looking scoreline at the end. Sent everyone away from Griffin Park. And what was it? Do you remember scorching afternoon, Dave?
It was really hot, yeah.
I think the hottest I can ever remember being at football.
What I really liked was their manager, how complimentary he was about Brentford.
Paul Warne, yes.
Yeah, he was so complimentary about it. He actually thought we was going to walk the league.
Yes.
I think we did that, boy.
Yeah. Corner to the far post. Well, Paul Cook of Wigan said exactly the same thing when they came down there a few weeks after that as well. And then we hit a bit of a poor patch, to say the least, which went on for some time. However, Brentford ended the season strongly and made some great acquisitions in this summer break. Maybe there'll be even more in the next couple of weeks or so. He's had to come way out of his goal here, Allsop, to play this one down the centre. It's a good ball through the centre. He could lob the keeper here. Kishket on the far side. Gunnarsson was out of goal. They are appealing behind the goal that he may have handballed it, but didn't look that way, David.
He sort of played it with his sort of hip and back,
yes,
didn't he?
Exactly. I think we're on to ball number 3 or 4 now, aren't we? Into that car park.
All going dangerously near my car, Mark.
In the centre. Trying to thread the ball through to Mikhail Smith, held up where there by Samuel. Now the ball down the right hand side for Morgensen to chase against one of the trialists. Plays it back to Allsop once more. We're into the last 5 minutes now. Here's Ali Coots on the far side.
Yeah, I mean, the first half was anything to go by. The referee blew up dead on 45.
Yeah, they don't look for time added on in these games. De Silva to O'Connor. Well, it's been good to see everybody get a run out anyway, Chris.
Yeah, of course, and I think we've seen some good performances. We've seen the capability of what we've got. We've seen flashes of brilliance, and here we go.
Here's De Silva. Ball into the box, and not the best control there by Morgensen. It was fired in low. Needed a deft touch there, or just open up his body and pass the cross into the far corner, deflected into the far corner. It didn't happen.
Mm. It's easy to say it up here, but what it almost needed was a step over. Marcondes was right behind him.
Yeah, I think ironically we saw that against Braintree, one that Gustav benefited from. He saw the step over and he took the finish. On this occasion, I think as a striker, you're wanting to put that in the back of the net.
Yes, yeah.
Not going to give the glory to anyone else.
No, but you're right, David. Had he stepped over, I think we'd have deceived the defence and Marcondes would have got the late winner. What can Brentford do this time? Onan down this near side to De Silva. De Silva, he's out of position here. So it's the trialist who's down this near side. He's gone for goal himself. He saw Gunnarsson off his line. A chance to get a late winner there for Wycombe Wanderers. Here's De Silva again, a little bit steadier that time. Both De Silvas linking up with each other. We're into the last 90 seconds now. Carroll looking for options. Who's making a run for this? Brentford go to try and win it late. Marcondes threads it down the left-hand side, looking for Coote. It's put out in the end there by one of the trialists. Coote takes the throw back to Field. That's a bit of a careless pass there. Josh De Silva having to work hard, trying to create something on the deck in the end. Allsop goes long. Good header there by O'Connor. Marcondes out of his feet towards Cole De Silva. It's Wycombe who win it back. Ball threaded through the centre. And he's gone for goal again. Well, the trialist number 2 looks to the heavens, head in hands. He'll be out to impress this afternoon. He's had a few attempts for goal, David.
He has.
And he won't be winning new contracts on that alone.
As I say, his ambitions outweighed his ability.
That's a very good way of putting it on that occasion. Brentford just passing the ball across the back here. Literally 10 seconds left now. The referee takes a look at his watch. De Silva. Back to O'Connor. Oh, referee dead on 90 minutes. Blows for time. It's finished. Wycombe Wanderers 2. Brentford 2, Wycombe into a 2-goal lead. Brentford getting one back just before half-time with Hammer. Marcondes scoring after good work by Ali Coote early on in the second half. Neither team went close to setting up a winner, but it's been a good run to see, a good opportunity to see some of the Brentford B team out there today. Chris, who particularly caught your eye?
I was really impressed